Hi everyone, welcome back to our daily Clues by Sam. It is Sunday. I hope you're having a good weekend. We're gonna play a hard one today, and if you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it is a daily logic puzzle game where there are 20 people on a board. Each of them must be either a criminal or an innocent, and you gotta find out what they are with the help of clues that they might give you. If you wanna play along, there is a link in the description to take you to 2 days, and I'm going to start my puzzle now and explain my logic as I go, so maybe I can help you if you do get stuck. Let's see if this really is that hard. We start with Tina telling us that only one of the three criminals named Uma is to the right of Vance. So to the right of Vance, there's two people named Uma. Only one of those is a criminal, right? And Uma has to have 3 criminals total neighboring her. She only has another 2 people besides the single criminal that neighbors her in row 5, and the other one who is an innocent. So all of the other 2 people that neighbor her have to be criminals, so we can have a total of 3. We don't need Tina's clue anymore. Olive now says there's an odd number of criminals to right of Vance. So we know how many criminals are there here. There's only 1. And there's 3 people total to the right of Vance, right? So we couldn't have all 3 of them be criminals because we know already that one of them at least is an innocent. And if the other person, except those 2, is a criminal as well, that would make 2, which is an even number. So one that is an innocent. We don't need Olive's clue anymore. Now Phil says that both criminals in row 2 are connected. So we don't know about anybody in row 2. We're gonna leave that clue there. And Wanda says that there's an equal number of criminals in row 2 and 5. So we know that there's 2 criminals in row 2 and 4 people total, which means there's 2 innocents in that row. And we already know about one of the criminals in row 5 who is here, which makes the second criminal need to be Vance. Don't need Wanda's clue anymore. Vance now says that an odd number of innocents on the edge is neighbor Tina. So Tina has 1 innocent on the edge neighboring her, and she's gonna have a second one here in row 5, so that's 2, an even number. Uma has to be the third innocent to make an odd number. We don't need Vance's clue. Uma says that David has only 1 innocent neighbor. So David has 3 people neighboring him. Only one of those is an innocent neighbor. Let's say that Katie were an innocent neighboring David. That wouldn't work for us, or would it? Well, it would if Phil, because Phil is saying that both criminals in row 2 are connected. So Hilda could be a criminal connected to Gary. That works. What couldn't happen is the opposite of that. So Katie couldn't be a criminal because that will make Hilda... Wait a minute. It wouldn't make Hilda an innocent because Chase could be the single innocent that neighbors David. But what we know for sure is that Hilda is a criminal. Because even though Katie could be a criminal, she could be an innocent as well. What we just learned is that she can't be a criminal. What we just learned is that Hilda couldn't be an innocent. Because if Hilda... I'm trying to make sense here. If Hilda is an innocent, then that will make Katie a criminal because David has only 1 innocent and Katie also neighbors David. And that would separate both criminals in row 2 because Katie is now in row 2 but not connected to any other criminal. So Hilda has to be a criminal. And since we now know that the other criminal in row 2 is connected to Hilda, let's use a different color than yellow, that makes Freya an innocent, right? Because the second innocent in row 2 doesn't have to be connected to any other innocent, so it doesn't matter if Gary is an innocent or not, and it's the last person in that row who could be the second innocent. Okay, Hilda now says that there's an odd number of criminals in the corners. Okay, we have 4 people in the corners. One of them is already a criminal. We don't know about the others though. Freya says only one of the 5 criminals neighboring Hilda is in column B. Column B has 3 people neighboring Hilda, and only one of those 3 is a criminal. But Hilda needs 5 criminals total. So that's 1, 2, 3 with Olive and Phil. We need 2 more. And we know that Chase and Katie are opposites because David has only 1 innocent neighboring him. So that makes 3 of Hilda's criminal neighbors, and the 4th one is for sure gonna be here in row 3, in column B, because if let me try to explain this. If Gary is an innocent, which makes Katie a criminal and Chase an innocent, in any case, there has to be a criminal neighboring Hilda here, right? So that's the 4th criminal neighbor for Hilda. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. If it were the opposite, let's say that Gary is an innocent, a criminal, sorry. Katie has to be an innocent, which makes Chase a criminal too. And now, same situation, Hilda has 4 criminals. So where's the 5th criminal for Hilda? It has to be David, because there isn't going to be a 2nd criminal here in column B neighboring Hilda. So it doesn't matter who it is. What matters is that David is the 5th one. And now we know that Zed and Amy are opposites because we need an odd number of criminals in the corners. And there's 2 people left in the corners. We need the 3rd one who is a criminal to make an odd number. So Zed and Amy are opposites. We don't need Freya School anymore now. I guess I'm gonna leave that here because it could make Bonnie and Nicole opposites depending of what Gary is. Have I read Hilda School? Yeah, we're taking that into account. Both criminals in row 1. David has only 1 innocent neighbor. Okay, so David now says that only one of the 4 criminals neighboring Gary is to right of Amy. So Gary has 4 criminals neighboring him. And there's 2 people to right of Amy who neighbor him, Bonnie and Chase. One of them is a criminal, so Bonnie and Chase are opposites. That might cause some confusion. I'm gonna use yellow up here because the other yellow pair is down here. So it's not gonna be as confusing. But Gary also has 4 criminals and 8 neighbors total. If 4 of them are criminals, and we know about 2 of them, Hilda and Olive, the 3rd one is either gonna be Bonnie or Chase. We need a 5th. A 5th? A 4th one. Let's look for that. Oh, but that goes with Hilda's total as well, because Hilda now has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. And she has a total of 5. So Nicole is not a part of that total. That means that she is an innocent. Now Nicole says that column A is the only column with exactly 2 criminals, but let's take a step back because Gary's total has just changed again. Bonnie and Chase is 1, Hilda and Olive 3. The 4th one is either Larry or Amy, so Larry and Amy are opposites as well, and I've run out of colors now. That's okay. Nicole says that column A is the only column with exactly 2 criminals, and we know who they are already. It's Vince, the first one. The second one is either going to be Amy or Larry. So that's 2 criminals in that column, which makes Ronald an innocent. We're talking about criminals, right? Criminals. Don't need... Well, I guess I need Nicole's School because we know that it's the only column with exactly 2 criminals, so we couldn't have a second column with 2 criminals, and column C has 2, so it needs a 3rd one. Either Xavier or Chase need to be the 3rd one, or both of them, to make more than 2. Ronald says that there are 7 criminals on the edges. Criminals. So we know how many are there already, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 with these 2. So where's the 7th? It has to be Katie. Criminals, right? Katie now makes Gary an innocent and Chase an innocent as well. And because of Chase, that makes Bonnie a criminal. Now, What do we have left? Xavier becomes a criminal because we know that column C couldn't have 2 criminals only because only column A has 2, so Xavier is a criminal, which makes that an innocent. And what else do we know? Column B couldn't have 2 criminals as well, so Steve is definitely not a criminal because if he were, then column B would have 2 criminals, so he's an innocent. And Gary now. What was Amy opposites with? Zed. So now she needs to be a criminal to make an odd number of criminals on the edges, which makes Larry an innocent. Not hard at all. Really, really nice. I love that. I love that. Okay, that was really good. All green. Really nice. I've been liking the different, there's a few different scenarios applying, like uncommon ones. So it might be that Sam's getting some ideas from the community, which makes me really happy. And I'll leave you here for today with this Clues by Sam. Let me know how it went for you and if I did help you with anything. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you tomorrow for more Clues by Sam. And I will be streaming at 6 p.m. BRT. So we see you there. Bye bye.